If you're waiting until you arrive at your new assignment to start location scouting, you're actually already a half step behind. In this video, I'm going to show you how I use the internet to compile a list of potential photo locations before my family PCSs. Hey friend, I'm Erin, military spouse and teacher turned photographer, and I love helping fellow Milspouse photographers build businesses that thrive despite frequent moves. One of the things that I do to set myself up to hit the ground running in a new location is location scouting virtually before I get there. And it's a simple 3-step process that I use, and I am excited to share it with you here. So, how do I do this? Well, up first, I like to compile a list of potential options from a few different sources. Looking at other photographers' blogs can be helpful, as can looking through Instagram. However, I have noticed that a lot of photographers don't like to publicly disclose their locations. Personally, I hate this, and more on what I'm doing later to combat that. But this has made ChatGPT an invaluable resource to doing some location scouting. So since I'm getting ready for a move to Dayton in a few weeks, let's take a look at what this looks like for me. So I'm just going to start by asking ChatGPT for a couple of popular locations for family photos in Dayton. And as you can see here, in just a couple of seconds, I'm getting quite a few results. It looks like there are 8 different options here. Now, if I wanted to, I could ask for additional locations, or once we do a little bit more research, if I find some that I like in particular, I could ask for more locations like that one. I could just ask for another response. I can click the regenerate button here and just get another full response right now. So there's different ways that you can get other responses other than what you just get initially. So keep that in mind if you end up with a list that you end up not being happy with. But for now, I'm going to take a look at these, and my next step is to take these locations and look at them inside Google Maps. Now, the first option that I got from ChatGPT was Cox Arboretum. So I'm going to start by putting that into Google Maps here and taking a look. So when I zoom in here, first thing I notice is there's a big parking lot, which is a plus for sure. Having spent a lot of years in DC, now I am very appreciative for easy parking. So that's the first thing that stands out to me here without even going into Street View, which is actually what I'm going to do next. So I'm just kind of peeking around here to see what it looks like from the satellite view, but then I'm going to go into Google Street View to see what I see. And in looking at just this screen right here, I already see a lot of potential. There's water, there's lots of green trees, there's a cool pathway it looks like, some cool buildings potentially. But if I just click around a little bit to see, try to get a better feel for the land, it'll give me an idea of what I'm walking into. I'm seeing some maybe cool rocks over here. The other thing I can do is close back out and drop the person somewhere else and just take a look around. So I'm seeing, a cool bridge. This definitely looks like a place that I'm going to want to check out. So I'm making a mental note that Cox Arboretum is a place that I'm going to want to look at, and we're going to circle back to the last step with that here in a minute. But let's go back to ChatGPT. We're going to look at some of the other options as well. I won't go through all 8 of these, but we'll pick a few of them to go through. So the next one here is the Carillon Historical Park. And when I look at that in the satellite view, I see parking again, which is good. And then when I go to drop the person in, I'm seeing there's not a lot of places that I can drop the person in the park itself. It looks like there's a few pictures. If I look at these, there's certainly some potential here, but I can't see a lot. I can't really click around. And if I look over here, I see there's more than 16,000 pictures taken here. So I could certainly scroll through these a little bit and kind of see what the place looks like. It looks like there's quite a bit indoors. Oh, but this this little house is kind of cool, and it looks like it gets some good color in the fall. So I think this will probably be a place that I'll want to check out in person. Unfortunately, I don't get a ton of info from the limited street view here, but it is going to be probably a place that I would go check out once I arrive. The next option, let's take a look. Riverscape sounds cool. Hopefully that's a spot by the river. And it is, that's good. Let's see, again, it looks like there's some parking here. That might be for a hotel. So I'm not sure if there would be street parking nearby. But if we drag the little person, I'd be interested in being down by the water. This looks like there's good access to the water. That could be a fun place for kids to play for a session. And it looks like over up the steps, potentially, we'll hop back out by this white tent. Maybe not under the tent, but it looks like there's some pretty gardens and trees and things. So this could be a place worth checking out as well. It's definitely a different look from the previous two places as well. And if somebody wanted pictures by the water, this seems like a good place to go as well. Again, I could look through the 9,000 plus pictures over here. That obviously looks beautiful. Just kind of gives me a little bit more of an idea of what this place would look like. All right, let's look. We'll do just a couple more. I'm not even sure how to say this. The Wagersen Gardens, maybe? Once I'm a local, maybe I'll know how to say it. Just from the preview picture, this looks like it has a lot of promise. Looking from overhead, the first thing I notice here is this looks like a very dense patch of thick green trees. That's not something that I typically shoot with. Being more light and airy, I like to have a lot of open sky or light colored backgrounds. And so I do have a little bit of concern about that initially, but I see easy parking and it looks like there could be some potential in here. I wonder what this spot looks like. Yeah, I see lots of potential for foreground in here. And this kind of wooded arch around the path here looks kind of cool. In thinking about the direction, I can tell that I'm facing north. And so I'm thinking it would be best for me to shoot here potentially in the morning with the sun coming over these trees. So I'm definitely going to add this to my list as well. Again, seeing lots of opportunity for foreground here and just some cool architecture it looks like. All right, the next option, we'll skip down a little bit. The Greentown Center, an urban vibe. That's not my usual, so we'll see what this looks like. This looks like a big shopping center. So I'm not even going to do much more research. I'm not going to dig in a whole lot here. Maybe there's something, if I had somebody who wanted a specific kind of shoot at a coffee shop or something that could be around here, I could dig into this for more of a one-off thing, but I can already tell that this is not going to be a place where I would typically shoot. So we'll X the green off the list. Then the last one on here, the Dayton Art Institute, that certainly sounds like it has promise. So we'll check that out. When I zoom in here, again, it looks like there's not a lot of options for street view. I'll take a look in here. That looks like the front of the building. Obviously, this preview picture here looks beautiful. I think there's a lot of promise there. I would love to be able to see a little bit more, maybe from down here. Yeah. Okay, the other thing that I am noticing here that I want to point out is there's an option for this one that says see more dates. This is a cool feature if you want to get a feel for what a place could look like at different times of year. I find this is especially useful if you're looking for, when certain kinds of trees bloom or when the leaves change in different areas. I can see here that there were pictures taken in June of 2022, July of 2019. Looks like there was construction then. I'm interested more in maybe an October timeframe. I'm not seeing a lot of color. There's a November one as well. And it looks really like the leaves fell. So I don't know how much color I'm going to get in this area. I can see down the street here, maybe there's some color. We could check that area out a little bit. This jumps to November though, but I can see. So again, the details of this specific place isn't necessarily important, but knowing that you can check for different dates could be really helpful if you're trying to get a feel for what things look like at different times of year. So now that I've narrowed down my list, I'm going to build a list inside Google Maps so that I can easily reference this once I move. This is going to make it really easy for me to visit these places, have them all in one location. And if I don't do this all in one sitting, I can keep adding to it so that when I arrive in the new place, I have a whole list of places that I want to go visit. So let's take a look at how I do that. So inside Google Maps, I'm just going to click on the hamburger button up here and go to Saved. And then I can create a new list of, I'm going to call them my date and photo locations. And then I'm just going to click on Add Place, and I'm going to add the names of all of the places that I decided I wanted to add. Awesome. So now I have the list. And one thing that I really like about this is that I can keep notes in here. So if I have things that come up along the way, or I want to reference where I found a place, or if someone told me about it, or something I noticed when I visit different times of day that I think would be good, just any notes that come up along the way, there's an easy place that I can add those here as well. And the one thing I really like about this is once you've added all of them, you now can see them on the map. So as I scroll out here, I can see pins in the different places I've added. So this also gives me an idea of where the places are located and how close they're going to be to where I'm going to be stationed, so that I know what kind of time commitment is going to be required for me to get from place to place. So hopefully a place close to my house can kind of be my go-to place for quick sessions, and then I can go from there when I want to plan a session at somewhere further away. Well, there you have it. I hope seeing me work through this process live is helpful. If you are getting ready for a move, with all of the different resources that we have available to us right now, there's no reason to wait until you get there to start your location scouting. If you can compile a list of potential places, look them up on Google Maps, and then build yourself a Google list, you're going to be well on your way when you get there to visiting these places and getting ready to start shooting. Now, one final note, I mentioned earlier that I really hate when photographers gatekeep their locations. This is probably due to me being a military spouse who has to restart her business every couple of years, and finding new locations to shoot is a huge part of that challenge. And so I am on a mission to change that and make moving easier on all Milspouse photographers. So one way that I'm doing that is through my location guide blog series. There's no gatekeeping locations, there's no holding back on weird permit rules or other local inside scoop. These blog posts are written by other Milspouse photographers who have been stationed in different places around the globe, and they're written in the hopes of helping a future Milspouse who is moving to that area. So if you have a move coming up soon, I will link our map in the description below of all of the location guides we have so far. If your new assignment is on that list, awesome, you have some invaluable insight waiting for you. But if it's not, I hope that in a few months, once you're settled in your new location, that you will write that location guide for us. So please check those out if you haven't already. This resource is incredibly helpful, and I hope that it continues to grow and we can serve more bases around the globe. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments below, and I will see you next time.